Hello, everybody. I want to welcome you to the first ever episode of Schreiber's Take. I'm Matt Schreiber. Let's get right to it. First off, we got Carolina traveling to Atlanta. Carolina coming off a terrible, embarrassing performance last Thursday against the Giants. Atlanta, in my opinion, is the second best team in the league right now behind Houston. Atlanta comes out of there with a big win. Now, next up, we got New England going to Buffalo. New England not losing three in a row. I'm sorry. The offense is way too good. The defense has improved with their two top draft picks in the first round, Chandler Jones, Dante Hightower. I see them destroying Buffalo. Not even going to be close without those two running backs. Moving on, we got Detroit hosting Minnesota, who's coming off one of the most surprising wins of the season thus far. Minnesota's not going to come out of there with a victory. Just like New England, I don't see Detroit losing three in a row. They could obviously be 0-3 right now with a very lucky, in my opinion, win against St. Louis in Week 1. But Detroit comes out of there on top. Next up, we got San Diego going to Kansas City. This will be my first upset pick, if you will, for the week. Rivers coming off a bad performance against a very good Atlanta team. Kansas City with a very lucky performance against the Saints, who are the only defeated team in the NFC right now. Kansas City is not going to get 233 yards from Jamal Charles this week. San Diego comes out of there on top. Seattle coming off the most ridiculous game in my 22 years of watching football. I consider that coming off a loss, but obviously the standing sheet does not say that, but they'll probably beat St. Louis this week in St. Louis. They are favored. They'll come up on top. Next up, we got San Francisco headed to MetLife Stadium to take the New York Jets. Jets missing Revis. This just in. Antonio Cromartie thinks he's the best corner in the league. All right. I can't even get started on that because I can talk for about an hour. But that's a joke. San Francisco is going to win that one, picking apart that Jets depleted secondary. Then we got Houston hosting Tennessee with the worst ground attack in the league. This guy right here, Chris Johnson, can't do anything, can't get it going. He's on my fantasy team personally, sitting on the bench right now. He's been highly considered to get on that waiver wire and just drop him, but I don't know, maybe one week he will explode, but it's not going to happen this week against Houston's top-ranked defense. Then we got Denver hosting Oakland. Peyton Manning looking to get back on track. He does not want to lose three in a row. He's going to be at home. He's going to fire away against this Oakland defense. Denver comes up on top. Then we got Arizona, the most surprising team in the league, hosting Miami, who could be, one of the worst teams in the league. Arizona coming up on top over there. Then we got Cincinnati traveling to Jacksonville, coming off a pretty impressive late victory against Andrew Luck and the Colts. Cincinnati's Andy Dalton has been impressive the first 3 weeks of the season. I see that continuing this week, and Cincinnati comes up on top. Next, we got Green Bay coming off the most disappointing loss, quote unquote, from Aaron Rodgers ever. Hosting New Orleans. New Orleans will be 0-4 after this week. I promise you that. Aaron Rodgers fantasy owners, be excited because he is going to explode for the rest of the year. Last week was good for him. For you guys, Green Bay comes up winning. Then we got Washington, RG3, the most explosive quarterback in the league right now, ahead of Michael Vick. And Washington will beat Tampa Bay. I think it'll be a close game. It could go either way, but I think Washington will wind up coming up on top. Then we got Sunday Night Football in the primetime spotlight. The New York defending Super Bowl champion Giants head to Philadelphia to take on Michael Vick and the turnover-prone Eagles, who actually happen to have a top 5 offense in the league and top 5 defense. The Giants have a depleted secondary right now. I think Michael Vick will get back on track and, throw a couple touchdowns, maybe run a little bit. You got to watch out for JPP, though. That's my boy right there. Better watch out for JPP, Michael Vick. But I think you guys and your Eagles will win this week. Then finally, we got Monday Night Football. The Chicago Bears going into Dallas. Jerry Jones doesn't want to lose this game. Tony Romo could choke. I think Dallas will come up on top, though. I hate Jay Cutler. You don't push your offensive lineman. He's lucky that guy did not just throw him into the bench. I personally would have loved it. All the media would have jumped on that right away. Dallas coming up on top, big. Hear it right now. I think they're going to win big. I hate Dallas, but they're going to beat Bears this week. All right, that's it for the first episode of Schreiber's Take. Stay tuned for my fantasy picks for this week and enjoy.